Alright, it is November 28th. Got kind of a fun setup this afternoon. I am hunting on the ground with my recurve. And I'm in this basically a little grove of cedar trees. This is my cover and my backdrop. And I'm hunting this little kind of just a narrow cutout that the deer like to come out of the bedding and out into the bigger field. They can come out kind of anywhere along this edge, but I'm banking on them coming out right here to be within recurve range. It's gonna be super tight. I can't see at all to my right where the deer come out, so when they come out they're gonna be in my lap. So that can make things interesting with the whole self-filming, but I do feel like my cover is pretty solid. It's just the deer gonna be really close. And being ground level never helps, but these trees just weren't quite big enough to get a stand in. Throughout this fall, I don't know how often he's been in here, but there's been just a giant bodied deer. Not much for a rack, but obviously very mature, but possibly the biggest deer I've ever gotten pictures of, body-wise. So I'm kind of hoping to see him, get a shot at him tonight. There always could be some new bucks move in here, but he's the only mature one I know of. Either way, it should be pretty exciting. It's cold, so that's the other aspect. I gotta try to stay warm tonight. Temperature be down in the teens probably, so we'll see how it goes. It's always fun trying something different. A little change of scenery, different property, different deer. Just a couple days left, so we'll see what happens. that's not ideal. Most of my hunt, I'd say 90% of my hunt, my wind has been just fine. Blowing back my face back here. But must have got a little westerly kick once these does and fawns got past me. That one mature doe got a whiff. She blew plenty of times for sure. My cover and everything else was perfect. Just a little kick of my scent in the wrong direction. It's pretty cool watching him walk by at 5 or 6 yards right here though. Hopefully it's early enough that if that buck is in here, he's not gonna be too worried about it. Got like probably an hour and 20 minutes left. and I thought I had him tonight. What a fun hunt that was. So intense being on the ground that close. I don't know what that camera captured, but essentially right after I finished that interview talking about the does that winded me, I peeked out around the corner to my right, past the cedars. I had the ground cleared out pretty good, so I could move around and peek out there to try to see deer coming a little bit earlier. And two does, and I could see him behind the two does coming out. And so I'm getting ready. The two does feed out just perfectly past me at 14, 15 yards. And I would peek forward and I could see his head and rack, and he just kept feeding. He was pawing at the ground. I could hear him. Like I said, I couldn't see him until I would actually peek my head out, but he's just feeding and feeding and feeding, would not move. And I thought, there's no way he's not going to follow these does out. He followed them all the way in here. There's going to feed right past. I'm going to have a nice broadside shot right here. And about that time, I don't know how long, how much time had passed, but I saw a little buck messing with some does back in the woods, and that caught his attention. He did a 180 and went right back in there. And I don't know if the GoPro could see any of that. I'm guessing not, just because everything was behind the cedar tree. I think I got a little bit of footage of him back in the woods. I took the camera off the camera arm and filmed back in there. And just bad timing, bad luck, whatever you want to call it, because I had him dead to rights right there. And the rest of the night was somewhat slow. Some small bucks had worked out feeding more does, and then I was actually getting packed up, and right at last light, he came out on top of the hill from me, probably 40 yards, I would say, and just was feeding out there for a while before he made his way into the CRP. And I was able to kind of crawl back through the cedars and sneak out, and I'm pretty sure I got out clean. But just crazy. It definitely takes some luck to kill a mature buck. There's no doubt about it. Put yourself in that situation, and just basically did everything I could, and it was just bad timing that he wanted to go investigate what this buck was doing back in the woods. But man, so intense, having deer that close. It's so fun. Even the does that busted me, it's funny, they walk past me at 5 or 6 yards and then bust me at 25, 30 yards. But it obviously didn't affect anything. So fun hunt. The quest for a recurve buck continues. I've been so close this year to releasing my first arrow at a whitetail, but just haven't had the right luck on my side. So gonna stay after it. Only 3 more days until the gun season's open up here, and I'll be done hunting for a while. So gonna hunt hard these last 3 days.